In a small, peaceful village nestled between green fields and golden wheat crops, there lived a young and ambitious chef named Mia. Mia loved cooking with all her heart, and she believed that food had a magical power to bring people together. She dreamed of hosting a grand feast, a gathering where everyone could come, eat, and share their stories, laughter, and joy. After months of planning, Mia decided that the time was right. She would invite her closest friends, neighbors, and anyone who wished to come. She imagined long tables filled with delicious dishes, the scent of fresh bread wafting through the air, and the sound of happy chatter and clinking glasses filling her home. For Mia, this wasn't just about showcasing her cooking skills. It was about creating a space for friendship and connection. The day before the feast, Mia prepared a long shopping list. She wanted each dish to be perfect and full of flavor, so she planned carefully. She woke up early the next morning, excitement bubbling in her heart, and headed to the bustling village market. Her first stop was the fruit stall, where she greeted the vendor with a warm smile. Mia carefully selected a variety of fruits for her dessert platter. Bright red apples, plump bananas, juicy oranges, tangy lemons, and a few exotic mangoes for a special tropical twist. She also added fresh berries to her basket, choosing strawberries, blueberries, and raspberries that looked as if they'd just been picked. Each fruit had to be perfect. She checked for ripeness, gently pressing each one to ensure it was at its peak flavor. She could already imagine her guests enjoying these sweet treats, their taste buds bursting with happiness as they bit into the juicy fruits. Next, Mia moved on to the vegetable stall. Here the colors seemed to dance before her eyes. Carrots in bright orange hues, crisp cucumbers with cool green skin, and shiny bell peppers in shades of red, yellow, and green. She chose them all, knowing they'd bring both flavor and color to her dishes. She also picked earthy mushrooms, bunches of fresh spinach, and a basket of bright red tomatoes. "Are you cooking for a festival?" asked the vendor, chuckling at the size of her order. "Something like that," Mia replied with a grin. "It's a feast for my friends and neighbors, and I want everything to be perfect." She added onions and garlic to her basket, imagining the deep, savory aroma they would create when they sizzled in her cooking. Her mind filled with ideas, and she could barely contain her excitement. At the dairy stall, she met Sam, a local dairy farmer who always had the freshest produce. Mia bought a jug of fresh milk, a block of creamy cheese, and a container of thick, tangy yogurt. She planned to make a special creamy dip, a smooth dessert, and even add some cheese to her baked dishes. Her next stop was the grains section. She kneaded rice for a dish her grandmother had taught her, a comforting and fragrant recipe that reminded her of family gatherings. She also purchased a sack of flour for baking, some pasta for a savory salad, and a bag of soft bread rolls to serve as a side. For the main courses, she headed over to the meat and protein section. She was thoughtful about her guests, so she planned both vegetarian and non-vegetarian options. She bought a dozen eggs to create a light and fluffy egg dish, some fresh chicken for a savory stew, a small cut of tender beef for a flavorful roast, and a selection of fish that would be perfect for grilling. For her vegetarian guests, she added tofu and beans, knowing they would appreciate the variety. Now, Mia had almost everything she needed. She moved on to the final essentials: sugar for desserts, a bottle of rich olive oil for cooking, and a mix of spices to season each dish. She picked up a few basic spices like salt and pepper, but she also added aromatic cinnamon and smoky paprika for a bit of warmth and flair. Returning home, Mia set all her ingredients on the kitchen counter. Her kitchen was soon filled with the rich aroma of fresh vegetables, fruits, and herbs. She put on her apron, tied back her hair, and began cooking with a smile on her face and music playing softly in the background. As she prepared each dish, Mia poured her heart into her cooking. She made a creamy mushroom soup with a hint of garlic, stirring it carefully to achieve the perfect texture. Next, she created a fresh salad with cucumbers, bell peppers, and tomatoes, adding a sprinkle of salt and a dash of olive oil to bring out the flavors. She tossed the pasta with a tangy yogurt-based dip, adding a handful of colorful vegetables and fresh herbs. For the main courses, she prepared a hearty chicken stew simmered with vegetables and spices, a rich beef roast with rosemary and garlic, and a grilled fish dish garnished with lemon and fresh herbs. The tofu and bean dish was a colorful medley, seasoned with paprika and cooked to perfection. Dessert was Mia's favorite part. She made a soft cake using flour, sugar, and eggs, adding layers of creamy frosting. She topped it with a mix of strawberries, blueberries, and raspberries, arranging them in a beautiful pattern. She also baked a batch of cookies that filled the house with a sweet aroma, tempting her to taste one before the guests arrived. As evening approached, Mia's friends and neighbors started arriving. They brought an assortment of drinks, juice, soda, coffee, and tea, to share with each other. Mia welcomed each guest with a warm hug, delighted to see the joy in their faces as they admired the spread. The long table was filled with plates of food, and each dish was a testament to Mia's love and effort. Her friends marveled at the colors, textures, and inviting aromas. There was a sense of excitement as everyone looked forward to tasting the different dishes. One of her friends, Tom, couldn't resist and picked up a cookie even before the dinner began. "I think dessert first is a great idea," he joked, making everyone laugh. The laughter was contagious, and soon the room was filled with warmth, laughter, and the clinking of glasses as they raised a toast to Mia's incredible efforts. The guests savored each dish, taking their time to appreciate the flavors. The creamy soup was a hit, warming their hearts with each spoonful. The salad was fresh and crunchy, with the perfect balance of flavors. The chicken stew was tender, the beef roast was juicy, and the grilled fish was cooked to perfection. Each dish had its own unique flavor, and Mia's friends couldn't stop complimenting her. Throughout the evening, Mia's friends shared stories and memories, laughing and reminiscing about old times. Mia felt a deep sense of satisfaction as she watched her friends enjoying the food she had prepared with such care. She realized that this feast was more than just a meal. It was a celebration of friendship, love, and the joy of sharing. By the end of the night, the guests were full and happy, their plates empty and their hearts full. They thanked Mia for the wonderful meal, hugging her and expressing their appreciation. One of her neighbors, an elderly woman named Mrs. Collins, held Mia's hand and said, "You have a gift, my dear. You brought us all together, and we'll remember this night for a long time." As the guests departed, Mia stood in the doorway, waving goodbye and feeling grateful for each one of them. She was exhausted but deeply content. Her dream of creating a grand feast had come true, and it had been more beautiful than she could have ever imagined. Later, as she cleaned up, Mia thought about how each ingredient had come together to create something special. She realized that just like cooking, life was a mix of different flavors, some sweet, some savory, but each one essential to creating something meaningful. With a heart full of gratitude, Mia knew she would cherish the memory of this grand feast for years to come. Food vocabulary recap. Here are the 50 food-related words in the story to reinforce your vocabulary. Fruit: apple, banana, orange, lemon, mango, berry, strawberry, blueberry, raspberry. Vegetable: carrot, cucumber, bell pepper, mushroom, spinach, onion, garlic, tomato. Dairy: milk, cheese, yogurt, grain, rice, flour, pasta, bread, meat, protein, egg, chicken, beef, fish, tofu, beans, sugar, olive oil, spice, salt, pepper, cinnamon, paprika, soup, salad, stew, dip, cake, juice, tea. Use this story as a fun way to learn food-related vocabulary and practice creating sentences with them.